Yes, it's recording. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, Annabeth, for opening the door yet again. We got a visitor, a four-legged popcorn visitor. Hello. Hi. So yesterday I thought we were still reading the book, A World of Choice, A World of Possibilities, because it showed 80-something% on my Kindle. But everything that was beyond, hi Roberto, hi Sara Maria, hello. So everything that was there beyond the point that we had read is explanations of the clearing statement, which is cool, but it would take us through like maybe 10 minutes of reading and it wouldn't be as much fun. And one of the things that, one of the books that I happen to love, and I'm not going to do it consistently all the time. Well, I will, but like perhaps once a month or once every couple of weeks, I'm going to be reading this book, which probably doesn't look like the copy that you may have. This is the very old version of the book. This is a well-beloved book that I adore. It looks a lot better now. If you look for it on Amazon, you can get it on Kindle. It's absolutely fantastic. And it is, this book by Gary Douglas is a transcript from a class that he did in 1996. It wasn't that long. It was probably like, he had maybe done Access for 10 years at that point, something like that. He had channeled and all that from the 80s, but really like delving into more of what came about with Access and the bars and all of that. That was more, you know, later 80s and the 90s. And this book was an evening class in New York in 1996. And the words, the energy, the invitation, that's pretty short. It's 90 pages with the end. So like 80, 88, 89 pages, right? And it's not exactly, you know, typed up tight, right? It's not a big book. And in it, there is so much wisdom. There is so much space. I don't even know what's more of a great invitation in the book, the words or even the spaces and the possibilities that are in between the words. You may see me crying because I've been doing a lot of that in the last few days, just from gratitude and joy of being alive. And I get another four-footed friend. Hi, Kippy, come sit. It does not mean put your ass in front of the camera. Thank you. You can like sit on my lap. There you go. Wait. Your foot's stuck in my shirt. There we go. So this book is the very beginning of Access as we know it. I could probably consider it the very first foundation class, because it invites you not only to be money, it invites you to be you. And I'm really sorry about that, whatever that was with Facebook, and I can try it again. Let me see, but for the last 10 minutes, it wasn't allowing me to get started. Let me just give it one last shot, and if not, forget it. Sharing a group. Space of Possibilities. I love that name. I just love that name because it's that space, that invitation, that energy, and that's what's in this book. Let's see if it will let me this time. Please. What would it take? Hello. Are you contributing? Oh, your eyes are beautiful. Thank you. It is the black screen of death again. Thanks. But no thanks. I'm just going to hop back here. Sorry about that. All right. So y'all ready? Everybody got your books? Yours may look prettier than mine, but I just love this. And by the way, the beginning of the book is also the questions that we're going to be covering. I'm going to actually mostly read through the book this time. And I'll see, we're just going to play it by ear and see what comes up. Anyway, that's the way I like to play it. Introduction. Gary Douglas, one of my favorite people on the planet. Is it actually working? No, it still says preparing. All right. Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, originally channeled this information from a being called Raz. Gary no longer channels. This is a transcription of a live class. Access is about empowering you to know what you know. It's about awareness. You're the one that knows what is right for you. So please use this book as a tool to facilitate the insane and limited points of view that you have created around money, and to create more ease in your life and living with a lot more money and currency flows. For more information on Access Consciousness and for more products and classes on all subjects of life, and I will say Gary is having a telecall tomorrow. Ease is so difficult. Something like that, which absolutely looks fantastic. I've already signed up. Might have some fun with it because the invitation is for ease and joy and glory, right? So for more information on Access Consciousness and for more products and classes on all subjects of life, business, money, relationships, sex, magic, bodies, and more, please go to our website. You can also join our Facebook fan page or YouTube page. There are so many amazing videos there. Do and be whatever it takes to create and generate your life and living to be more than you ever perceived possible. And then it says the page, www.accessconsciousness.com. Transcript from a live class with Gary Douglas, channeling a being called Raz. And if anybody has any questions, any comments, anything that's coming up as we're going through this, you're welcome to stop me and either in the chat, because now that it's not on Facebook, I can actually look at the chat. So you can write something in the chat, or you can just, unmute yourself and go. Gary, this workshop on money will be a new experience for me. I don't know how it will be for you. Make sure you all have your notebooks, your pens or pencils, whatever you're going to use, because you're going to have a lot to do here tonight. From the little that Raz gave me, there's going to be a lot that's going to be happening. Once again, he's going to ask you to volunteer to step up to the front and be the mirror for other people here. Ha ha. So if you have a problem with that, put a blanket around yourself so he can't see you. Otherwise, he's going to ask you. And don't be embarrassed by anything that goes on, because the reality is there isn't a person in here who doesn't have exactly the same problem you do in one form or another. It doesn't make any difference whether you've got $1 million or 50 cents. The issues of money are tough ones for everybody. Okay, so here we go. Workbook questions. Does everybody actually have like a pen or a, yeah? Would you guys like to be writing down your answers as we're going through this? So you can even do on the phone, because I did not bring a pen or pencil, but let me see what I've got here. I used to have a note with the how to become money questions. Let's see. Or maybe I don't. I thought I did it anyway. Here. Okay. Okay, I just opened up a notepad for me as well. You guys may want to do that. I've written down the actual questions in the note, so it makes it easier for me. You might want to do that as well, or write it down on a piece of paper. Do not answer in your book, because if you respond in your book, that's going to really color whatever you're going to be responding in the future. So it's a lot better to have it written somewhere else. And what's really cool, like if you have a notebook for it, or you have loose pages for it that you may keep together, you can see your progression, the changes in your points of view through time, which is really cool. Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about how to be money. That which you are is energy. That which you will be is energy. That which you have been is energy. That which is money is energy. She could say everything is energy. As you, this night, answer the questions that we are going to ask, be in awareness that the honesty of your answers relates not to the people around you, but to self. In other words, write what's true for you. Every point of view that you've created about money creates the limitations and parameters from which you receive it. Everything that you create, others create. Be in total honesty with self. Otherwise, you are the only one you are fooling. Everybody else will know your secrets anyway. We ask you to remember that the subject we are now dealing with is not one that is considered light, but it should be. Light is funny. It is a joke. You can laugh. It is all right. So be prepared to be the enlightened beings that you are. If you truly desire results in this, it would be best if you answered all of these questions in this section before moving on to the next chapter. So let's take a few moments and write. Raz. Hello, students. Good evening, Raz. Raz, how are you? So this evening, we are going to speak about that which is most dear to all your hearts, that which is money. And it is that for each of you. Money's not the issue that you think it is, but we're going to work with you to assist you in beginning to learn how to cope with money, not as a moment-by-moment situation, but as the allowance of the abundance that is the truth of self that you are. I'm going to repeat that line because there is a world in just those few words. We're not going to even talk about the money part, but the allowance of the abundance that is the truth of self that you are. Whenever we're operating from fear, from stress, from lack, from scarcity, if you want to play with it that way, we shut down, we contract. I was watching a video. I'm going to post it in this group, and I'm going to post it in a couple of WhatsApp groups that I'm a part of as well. That's by a medical doctor that's expressing or showing how stress relates to either growth or shutdown, and especially in times of coronavirus and COVID and the pandemic of fear and all this stuff, even the word pandemic. So a friend of mine posted on Facebook, he makes graphic pictures. What if we'd stop giving the energy to the word pandemic? And I know this is kind of apart from the book, but it made me laugh. If you have the book, you're welcome to start answering questions as I'm speaking. But I saw the word pandemic and it was written out, all spaced out, on his graphic. And all I got was pan de mic, like in Spanish, pan, bread, of de like Mickey, or, you know, Mikey, like the Life cereal. Mikey likes it, so that's his bread. It didn't even like go ding in my universe of the energy of what he was talking about until I stopped and looked at it a second time. Because the first time, the words were willing to play with me. I was willing to not be the point of view of it has to be like this or it has to be like that. So how much more growth, more possibilities, more receiving, more joy, more wonder could we be when we're in allowance of the abundance that is the truth of self, of us. In other words, recognizing we are the gift we truly be, and actually acknowledging that, actually receiving that, being that, celebrating that, changes the way that you function on the planet and changes how everything interacts with you. So we will begin. We ask you the question, what is money? And you write 3 answers of what is money to you. Now, do not put down what you think it should be. Do not put down the quote unquote right answers, because there is no such thing. Allow your brains to float away and allow that which is the truth of where you sit to be the answer on the page. Okay, so what is money for you? She's so funny. I had to take a picture. What is money? Okay. Never got these answers before. That's pretty interesting. So what is money? Okay. Next question. Okay, everybody? Y'all ready? Second question is, what does money mean to you? Write down 3 answers. No, I got 4, but funny. Okay. Next question. Question 3. What 3 emotions do you have when you think of money? I know. No, but I got some really weird responses now that typically I would not have gotten. It's been too long since I've read the book and have played with the book, which is, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this group, yes, I've invited you into it, but it is kind of a selfish creation. This is for me to not go crazy during these days. It is my excuse for getting up, putting clothes on, putting makeup on, showing up with a book, being present, and this is for me. So if you're here for the ride as well, awesome, but this is for me. And some of these are totally strange. And how does it get even better? So next question. What does money feel like to you? Okay. That's question number 4. What does money feel like to you? Now question 5. What does money look like to you? Everybody ready? Next question. What does money taste like to you? Feel it in your mouth. What does it taste like? Now, most of you have not had money in your mouth since you were small children, so you can use that as a point of reference. What does money taste like to you? Jean? Everybody ready? Next question. When you see money coming toward you, from which direction do you feel it coming? From the right, from the left, from the back, from the front, from up, from down, from all around? Where do you see it coming from? Huh? All right, next question. In relationship to money, do you feel you have more than you need or less than you need? And in relationship to money, when you close your eyes, what color is it and how many dimensions does it have? And in relationship to money, what is easier, inflow or outflow? And now, what are your 3 worst problems with money? Now, what do you have more of? If you, sorry, that one might take a little more. Everybody ready? I see Sara Maria writing still, so yes, you ready? You ready? Okay, cool. So next question, what do you have more of, money or debts? All right. And so that one is pretty easy. It's just like that one answer, that one word, whichever it is, pot and pot it all. We are going to give you one other question. In relationship to money, to have an abundance of money in your life, what 3, count 1, 2, 3 things would be a solution to your current financial situation? So in relationship to money, to have an abundance of money in your life, what 3 things would be a solution to your current financial situation? Everybody got that? Yes? Do I get a nod? The only one I can see is Santa Maria, so I'm gonna go with that. Thank you. All right, everybody got their answers, and I will say that the first time that I answered these questions, I freaking thought and thought and thought about every response, and they were generally unpleasant, and I felt uncomfortable writing them down. Because they had to do with like blood and war and being stolen from and all sorts of stuff. Really interesting points of view, right? But the more I was willing to respond to the questions, the more I was willing to do them. And in 2015, I think it was, we started getting together in Starbucks down the street from where I live. And there was a group of people. We get together every Monday morning. Probably went on for about a year and a half. But we'd get together every Monday morning, answer the questions of what money means to us, and try to get in a conversation. Generally, I mean, I brought the book with me. The whole point was to be able to read the book and talk about some of the things in the book and clear points of view, but we mostly just cleared points of view, and people would arrive whenever the frick they felt like it. And so we were getting interrupted left, right, and center. So it didn't quite work the same way, but I got a lot of practice answering the questions and looking at my points of view. So even greater than pocking and potting, any answer that you have, even if we only read this book, you know, like once a month, or I'm not sure how we're going to go through this, but I'll be going through it regularly through the year for me. Want to join me? Welcome to. Don't want to? That's okay too. But what I'm going to be doing, and what I invite you to do, is once a week go through these questions. Go through the very questions that we just mentioned now, and look to see what are my points of view about money, for example, like this. You can also play with other words if you feel like it as well. We did it once about sex. We did it once about our bodies. You know, you could do it with so many different things. But what you're looking at is, where is the solidity of my point of view? Where is the underlying assumption? And more than anything, it's about literally like lighting it up with the light of consciousness, looking at where is it that I'm functioning from? What is the point of view that I may not have wanted to look at, but that very point of view is what's running my life right now, right? So when you do that, just looking at it, just recognizing it, not judging yourself for it, and not even having the pocket pot it, but just being present with it and looking at it already begins to shift and change it. It invites you to a different space and a different awareness of what that point of view is. So I encourage you, as you could see, this didn't take that long, less than 20 minutes, because there's been plenty of talking and interruption in between too, cat petting, closing doors, whatever. In just a few minutes, once a week, or once a day if you feel like it, you could look at where you're functioning from about money. And you know the superpowers of access consciousness, POC and POD, the clearing statement, POC and POD. You can POC and POD it. Or you could just go, wow, that's an interesting point of view. Or you could just look at it and go, wow, well, that was then. And now what? And now what can I choose? And this is where you can empower yourself to shift everything that you've created. And Gary says, the more you really get the energy of the book, the questions are amazing. Please don't get me wrong. You can see and recognize where you're coming from, how you're functioning, what's going on in your world. The energy that's in the book, if you're willing to read it regularly, whatever regularly is for you, invites you to the space of possibilities that's you, to that allowance of abundance that is you. So, all right. Everybody got their answers? Anybody not got answers? All right, now go back to the beginning of your page. Read the questions through and ask yourself if you have been totally honest about your answers and that these are the ones you wish to have on the page. If not, change them. Look at your answers and decide if you've created them in honesty. Honesty with self. Because otherwise, the only one you're cheating is yourself. Nobody cares what your answer is. But if you're willing to look at what is for you, then you're willing to change what is for you. There are no right answers. There are no wrong answers. There are only points of view. That is all there are, points of view. And I want you to be really aware of that word because it's so funny to me. A point, I tend to be a very visual person, hence I guess that pandemic thing, pandemic, you know. So I play with words and I see them differently. A point of view, literally, you're taking something that could be a space, an expansion, lots of different possibilities, lots of things, and you are shrinking it down and bringing it to a point that then you fight tooth and nail to maintain, to hold on to, sometimes to resist and react to, and then that solidifies it too. But in that point, there's no space. There's just contraction. It's not the truth of you. You are the abundance of space and possibilities. So anytime you take a point of view and you don't allow it to be just an interesting point of view, like no big deal, it can move, it can shift. Anytime you're fighting for or against something, right, you're shrinking it down to a point. Okay? You're shrinking it down to something very, very limited. You're not being the truth of you, which is the energy, space, and consciousness, right? So points of view or space of view is your choice. There are only points of view. That is all there are. Points of view. Points of you. Point, little tiny contraction. And they are the limitations out of which you have created your life. If you are functioning from what is the cosmic right answer, you're not being truthful with self, because if you were, your life would be quite different. So what is money? For some, money is cars. For some, money is houses. For some, money is security. For some, money is an exchange of energy. But is it those things? No, it's not. It is energy, as you are energy. There is no difference between you and money except the points of view that you give it. And you give it those points of view because you have bought the points of view of others. Did you get that? We talked about points of view becoming a contraction to where you and your life and everything about you becomes just a tiny little point that you fight and hold on to and try to justify and, you know, really like, this is my kingdom. This is what I know. Who am I without my problems and my points of view, right? And we hold on to that so much that we forget that we're a space of possibilities. And most of those little things that we've been defending are points of view or beliefs, which is a funny word because if you look at the word belief, B-lie-F, lie, there's a lie there. It's somebody else's point of view. It may be true for them and it may work for them and it may be great for them, and that's awesome, good for them. But it's not necessarily what's true for us. And if we hold on to that, and if we fight for that, and we define ourselves by that, and we hold on to that so strongly, we're not living the space of possibilities, the joy, the wonder that we could be. We're defending a little castle, which is somebody else's point of view, and it's got nothing to do with us. It's just a lie for us. So anyway, if you would change that, which is your financial situation, if you would change that, which is money in your life, then you must learn to be in allowance in all things. But in particular, when you hear a point of view delivered to you, you must look to it and see if it is true for you. If it is true for you, you've made an alignment or agreement, and you've made it a solidity. If it is not true for you, you either resist or react to it, and you've made it a solidity. Even your own points of view need no agreement. Hang on a second. Even your own points of view need no agreement. They need be only interesting points of view. So what you are, what you would have, you must be. That which you do not have in you, you cannot have at all. If you see money as outside of you, you cannot have it. If you see money anywhere besides within the being of you, you will never have it at all, and there will never be enough from your point of view. See, for stuff like that, it's really good to read the book and read the book and read the book fairly regularly so that it changes everything. And I mean, seriously, it's less than 90 pages. I just happened to talk a lot through it. Chapter 1, What is Money? Rasputin, aka Raz. All right, so everybody ready? All done? All satisfied with your answers? All right, so now we begin to speak about money. To begin, you now have an understanding from what you have put down on your page of your own points of view about money. You see your life as the financial situation that you are in. You buy the point of view that your life is only what you have now as financial reality. Interesting point of view. Now we speak, as we have many times, once again about the difference between allowance and acceptance. Allowance, you are the rock in the stream, and any thought, idea, belief, decision, conclusion comes at you, goes around you, and moves on. If you are the rock in the stream and you're an allowance, right? Now, if you're an acceptance, all ideas, thoughts, beliefs, decisions come at you, and you become part of the stream and you get washed away. Acceptance has 3 components: alignment or agreement, which makes it a solidity, resistance, which makes it a solidity, and reaction, which makes it a solidity. How does that look in real life? Well, if your friend says to you, there's just not enough money in the world, or there's a horrible thing going on outside your front doors and you have to be totally terrified of it, whatever the point of view is, right? There's just not enough money in the world. If you align and agree with it, and you go, yes, you're right, you make that a solidity in his life and in your own. If you resist it and you think, oh, this guy wants money from me, you make it a solidity in his life and in your own. If you react to it and you say, well, I have plenty of money in my life, I don't know what's wrong with you. Or you say, that's not the way it's going to be for me. And you've bought it, you've paid for it, you've taken it home in a bag, and made it a solidity for yourself. Okay? Now, if your friend says to you, there's not enough money in the world, that is only an interesting point of view. Every time you hear information about money, you must instantly acknowledge that it is only an interesting point of view. It doesn't have to be your reality. It doesn't have to be what occurs. If you think it is easier to borrow than paid back, then you've made that point of view as a solidity and created continuous debt. It is only an interesting point of view after all. I'm going to pause for a quick sec because I'd like to bring up what they're talking about here, the acceptance, whether it's alignment or agreement or resistance and reaction, takes two people to align and agree with a point of view, whether you're in the positive polarity, which is the alignment and agreement, or whether you're in the negative polarity, which is resistance and reaction. It takes two to hold up and maintain a point of view. If you're willing to be interesting point of view and let it go, you're actually desolidifying, melting, you might say, a lot of the solidity of the points of view around you. Now, especially about the theme of money, a lot of people on this planet have at least one point of view, which is not an interesting point of view, most likely. They're holding on to it. They're desperate about it. They're upset about it. They're panicking about it. They're all sorts of things about it, rather than recognizing that they're the source of creation in their life, when they're willing to be that allowance of the abundance of possibilities that they be, right? They don't recognize that. They make money the source of their life and living and everything else. So look at that alignment and agreement. That is, or resistance and reaction. That's how you solidify. That's how you maintain everything as rigid and unchangeable. By your willingness to be in allowance, you're actually allowing a movement there. And if you notice what they were describing, you've made that a solidity in their life and in your life. If you align and agree with someone or resist and react to them, right, then not only are you sticking yourself, you're sticking them too. I've seen this a lot with kids in schools and the points of view that teachers have about kids, or sometimes parents have about kids. They'll say, oh, this kid is a troublemaker, or this kid doesn't know anything, or I can't believe, what an entitled child this is, or how lazy, or how whatever. Every projection, right? Every point of view, whether you were on the receiving end or you were the one observing it, or maybe the one, slinging those arrows of projections and expectations, all of those are points of view as well, okay? And we can align and agree. We can resist and react. We can be an allowance and go, wow, I see, that's where that person is functioning from. That's their choice at the moment. They don't have to live from that choice. Isn't it curious that they're choosing that? Wow. That's the energy of allowance. It's not getting mad at them. It's not trying to save them either. Okay? It's recognizing that they're functioning from what's working for them right now. Whatever it is, whether it's with money or with doing their homework or anything else. If you have a projection that, oh, pobrecito, or oh, he's right, or this person's trying to cheat me, they don't have a place where they don't have the space, where they can change, because they've been limited to this place of whatever that little tiny point of view is, wherever they have to be, quote unquote, stuck in that lie, whatever has been projected, expected, directed at them, that you've aligned and agreed with, or perhaps resisted and reacted to, but that's created a solidity, okay? So anytime you'd like to actually mutate and change and shift what's going on around you, you may consider that you could be an allowance of it and ask, interesting point of view. I have this point of view. Wow, this really brings up a charge for me, whatever I've heard on the news or whatever I see that's going on or what people are saying. I could, fight and defend this little point of view, or I can be an allowance. Interesting choice that these people are making. Interesting point of view that I have about their point of view. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view about their point of view. Oh, okay, well, what if I didn't have that point of view? Where else could I see it from? And you have infinite places from which you could look. And remember what Dr. Dane here says a lot, your point of view creates your reality. So if you're defending a tiny little point, it's not inviting you to the space of possibilities that you truly be. So back to the reading. What is money? Well, some of you think money is gold. Some of you think money is cars. Some of you think money is houses. Some of you think money is energy exchange. Some of you think it is a medium of exchange. Notice each of these points of view is a solidity. Money is only energy. There is nothing in the world, nothing that is not energy. So if you look at your lives and you think you have not enough money, you're really saying to the angels that sit with you, that assist you, you are telling them that you do not need additional money, that you do not need energy. In truth, you do not need. You are energy and you have no limited supply of it at all. You have more than enough energy to do everything you desire in your life. But you do not choose to create yourselves as money, as energy, as power. Now, what is power for you, to you? For most of you, power is about overwhelming another, or it's about controlling another, or it's about controlling your life, or putting controls in your life, or controlling your financial destiny. Interesting point of view, eh? Financial destiny. What is that? It's a weird program, that's what it is, a program of fate. And every time you say, I have to have a program of financial freedom, you are telling yourself that you personally have no freedom. So read the book, A World of Choice, A World of Freedom. And therefore, you have limited in totality your choices and what you experience. We ask you all at the moment to close your eyes. So you're welcome to close your eyes if you like. Close your eyes and begin to pull energy from the front of you. Pull it in to every pore of your body. Pull, pull, pull. Not breathe it in, just pull it in. Good. And now pull it in from the back of you, from everywhere. You're not stopping the pull from the front as you're adding the pull in the back. You're allowing it to flow in both directions, right? Pull it in from the front of you, pull and allow it to go through you. Pull it in from the back of you and allow it to go through you. And now pull it in also from the sides of you. Okay? From the right, from the left, keep pulling it in. Ooh, that's yummy. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. And now pull it in from the bottom of you. Keep pulling, keep pulling. Keep all of those flows going. Notice there is plenty of energy available to you when you pull it in. Now turn all this energy into money. Notice how most of you made it very dense all of a sudden. No longer was it an energy that you were pulling in, it was something significant. You have bought the idea that money is a significance, and therefore you've made it a solidity. You've aligned with the agreement of the rest of the world that is how it functions. It functions on energy. The world does not function on money. The world functions on energy. The world pays in coin of energy. And if you are giving and receiving of money as energy, you will have abundance. But for most of you, and don't stop pulling energy. I can feel some of you guys stopping. Don't stop. Keep pulling and direct it, you know, from the front, from the top that Raz didn't mention, from beneath you, from the sides, from the back. Just keep doing it. But for most of you, inflowing of energy is the category. It is the idea. Pull energy again into the totality of your body. Pull it in. Pull it in. Can you hold on to it? Does it seem to build and to get more and more? Does it stop with you? No. You are just energy, and the direction in which you focus your attention is how you create energy. Money is the same. Did you notice something in that that goes along with the book that we just finished reading, A World of Choice, A World of Freedom? There was an active choice in pulling the energy. There was a choice in those 10 seconds to allow the energy to flow, to be connected to be in communion, in convergence with everything that's around us, to allow all the molecules and all the quantum entanglements and all of everything to be a part of us. And not only that, but by allowing it to flow through us, we allowed for us to be able to be a contribution to the rest of the world. And all it took was a choice, a simple, less than 10-second choice. So you have that choice in any moment in time, any point in time, any time you would like to have that choice, you can just pull that energy in. That way you don't have to be the effect of everything and everyone around you. You could actually just receive, okay? Because you choose to. The more you choose to do that, the more that becomes your natural state. And it's really funny. I'm part of a program that it's in Spanish, but there are a lot of facilitators, I think, 27 of us, something like that, from like March 20th to the middle of April, where we're doing energy pulls, jales de energía. And everyone's looking for, do it to me, do it for me. Right? Rather than recognizing, and yes, we could add that, definitely, because it's joyful and it's fun and it's great to have the different flavors and the different facilitators. And it's such a gift to be able to be amongst other choosers. And some of the questions that I'd seen on the chat were about fix me, do me, like not recognizing that each of us has a choice. So what if every moment of every day we recognize that we could choose, and we could choose to be those flows of energy, and we could choose to allow that by actually just choosing it. And the more we choose it, the more it becomes our natural space of being. For most of you, the inflowing of energy is the category. It's the idea. Pull energy again into the totality of your body. Pull it in. Pull it in. But can you hold on to it? Does it seem to build and get more and more? Now, does it stop with you? No. You are just energy, and the direction in which you focus your attention is how you create energy, and money is the same. Now, everything in the world is energy. There's no place you cannot receive energy from. You can receive energy from the dog shit on the ground, from the pee in the snow, or you can feel it from the car or the taxi driver. I'd like you guys to get that, because there is a world, again, I love this book. There's a world available right there in that little sentence. Receiving is about not having any barriers. Okay? When we pull energy, I don't know why I'm going to cry now. When we pull energy, there are no barriers. There can't be, because if you're pulling, it can't smack against the wall. Your barriers naturally go down. You're willing to be the space of receiving when you're pulling energy with no point of view. Now, how many of us go around the world, go around our lives? Oh, no, I can only be around positive people. I can only be around the people who align and agree with my point of view. I can only be with the people. You know what? Half my fucking family judges me tremendously. I just got judged last night by my doctor sister-in-law for sharing a video about some of the lies that are going on, where on the news, that'd be a fun video to put in the group too, where on the news they're talking about, oh, there are lineups, that we're waiting for hours for tests and blah, blah, blah. And there are citizens that are going out with their cell phones and recording these places where there are no lineups, where they said that they were lineups, where the waiting rooms in hospitals are empty, where people may be terrified and may have the symptoms and be in their own houses. But what's going on in the news, right, with all the fear mongering, and what's going on in, at least, I don't know if it's reality, or at least in those 5 minutes, maybe, when people came out with their cell phones and were videotaping everybody dispersed so that they could have a, you know, their own little, I don't know. But it shows something else. I wasn't arguing or defending my point of view. I was just showing this is what the news is saying, and this is what in the very same places that the night before it's showing these long lineups, look at this the morning after. Interesting. Not aligning and agreeing, not resisting and reacting, just looking at going, wow, that's interesting. And would you believe it? Would you believe it? I got judged. And that's okay. I don't mind, because if I'm not only looking for one side of things, I can receive everything. Remember, the mantra of access consciousness is all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. It's not just the pretty pink, sparkly, fluffy, glittery things. It's everything, even the fucked up shit. But if we don't have a point of view about it, and I'm going to go back to, you know, like what I was saying when my friend Tom had made a posting about let's not use the word pandemic, you know. And for me, the first moment when I looked at his graphic, I saw pandemic, pan, like bread, like, hey, give us today our daily bread, you know, or mixed daily bread. It didn't click because it didn't have that significance for me. In our family, especially being a family that's been around a lot of access classes, and even before then, we didn't have points of view. We don't have points of view about words, like bad words, curse words. You shouldn't use those words. We don't have any point of view. And so, you know, we use them liberally to describe all sorts of things, because to me, you know, they're just so much fun, but I don't have a point of view about it, so there's no charge. It's also a blessing when you play with things in different languages. For example, I can speak in Hebrew, I can speak in English, I can speak in Spanish, more or less, but there are words that some people, it means so much to them, like the word necia, for example, my daughter hates because it's similar to her name, Nestle. And she hates that word because, you know, it's like, oh, it means so much. But to me, it's just a word, necia, big deal, who cares? It may mean something because of all the definitions that we've put on. So what if we take whatever point of view that we have and look at it and go, wow, isn't that interesting? So all the definitions you have of yourself, all the definitions you have of money, all the definitions that keep you separate, apart, and unwilling to receive the beauty and the contribution that everything, including the freaking dog shit on the ground, or the pee in the snow, or the news, or the crazy, or somebody's judgment. If you're not willing to receive it and use it as fertilizer for you, who are you limiting? You or somebody else? They're not suffering, they don't care, but you are. Because you contort yourself and you make yourself into a little tiny origami because you're not going to want to live because they're going to judge you. Turn it up, buttercup. If you're willing to receive from everything, including somebody's judgment, then you can have more fun. And there's that infamous song, you know, juzgame mucho. I don't even remember the rest of the words, but it's so much fun to just be willing to receive. If you're willing to allow everything to come to you with ease and joy and glory, there are no barriers between you and the world, and you can receive from anything. You receive energy from you can receive energy from the dog shit on the ground, from the pee in the snow, or you can feel it from the car or the taxi driver. There. Are you all picking it up? You receive energy from everywhere. Now take the taxi driver and flow massive amounts of money out the front of you towards the taxi driver. Any taxi driver will do, or any person will do. You may not be sitting on the streets of New York. Well, I don't even think there are many taxis in the city of New York right now that are operating, but just think of yourself, your neighbors, people around you, anyone you'd like to flow energy to, do that. Okay, so flow massive amounts of money out the front of you towards that person. Any person will do. Flow it out. More money, flow it, Flow it. Now feel the energy that is pulling in the backside of you. Are you limiting the amount that's coming in the backside of energy? Where does money come from? If you see it coming from the right or the left, you're seeing that your life is about working, because that is the only way that you can get money. If you see it as coming from the front of you, you see it as belonging to the future. Kind of like, the stick that's hanging and the carrot that's waving in front of the horse. It's always there in the front. You can never reach it. It's inalcanzable. It's unreachable. It's right there. If you're seeing it from behind you, you're seeing that it comes from that which is the past. And this is the only place you've had money. Your life is about, I had money and now I have none. I'm very pathetic. Not really, only an interesting point of view. And now, when you flow money, ow, you got nails, Peter. Now, when you flow money, do you flow it from your heart chakra, your root chakra, your crown chakra? Where do you flow it from? You flow it from everywhere. The totality of your being, and then it flows in from the totality of your being. I love how the kitties like the book club too. Can't resist, gotta take a picture. If you see money coming from the top of you, are you posing? Sorry. So if you see money coming from the top of you, then you think that spirit is to provide you with money. Spirit provides you with energy. Energy to create anything that you decide to create. So what do you do? What do you do to create money? First of all, you must become power. Power is not sitting on top of another. Power is not controlling. Power is energy, unlimited, expansive, growing, magnificent, glorious, fabulous, exuberant, and quick energy. It is everywhere. There is no diminishment of self in energy. There is no diminishment of self in power, and there is no diminishment of another. I'm going to read that part again. Power is not sitting on top of another. So what do you do to create money? First, you become power. Power is not stepping over everybody. Power is not sitting on top of another. It is not controlling. It is energy, growing, magnificent, glorious, fabulous, exuberant, and quick energy. And it is everywhere. There's no diminishment of self in energy. There's no diminishment of self in power, and there's no diminishment of another. When you are being power, you are in totality self. In other words, you are being you. When you're willing to be the power of you, the potency of you, as we call it in Access nowadays, you're willing to be yourself, fully, totally the gift that you be. You're not stomping all over anybody else. You're not stepping over everybody else. You are recognizing that you, we get a hug. Thank you. You get the potency, right? You are the potency that can be and do and change and create and generate anything. Right? When you are being power, you are in totality self. And when you are self, you are being energy. And as energy, all is connected to you, which means unlimited supplies of money are connected as well. Now, you'll become power, and to do that, you say 10 times in the morning. It says here, I am power. But I will say that when I spoke to Gary about the I ams, because in the I ams there are a lot of points of view. So he said, we be. these things. So I don't say I am, I say I be, okay? O yo ser en español. So you can do it either way or both ways, whatever works for you. I be power. And in the evening, you say 10 times, I be power. And what else must you be? Creativity. I be creativity. So what is creativity? Creativity is the vision of your life and the work that you desire to do as the essence of you, as the soul of energy. It's not that somebody else is creative and you aren't. Creativity is recognizing that you can create, that you are the chooser of your life. And tuck in the little runaway hair. Creativity is the vision of your life and the work that you desire to do as the essence of you, as the soul of energy. Now, everything that you do, whatever it is that you do, done at creativity, with that energy of the creativity that you be, with that recognition of your capacity for creativity that you are, regardless of whether you are sweeping the floor, cleaning the toilets, washing the window, washing the dishes, cooking the meal, writing the checks, done as creativity connected to power equals energy and results in money, because they are all the same then. Now, the next element that you must have is that which is awareness. And what is awareness? Awareness is the recognition that everything that you think gets created. It is manifested, or in modern access words, actualized. It is how your life shows up by your thoughts alone. If you have the creative image of where you're going and what you're going to do, and you attach to it the awareness that it is a done deal, it will manifest. But what you do upon that, okay, so it will manifest. Pause. This weekend, I am still hoping, wondering, and I will do it myself because I made a promise that I'm going to write my desire list. That was part of the home play from, I think it was day 2 of the World of Choice, the World of Freedom. If you haven't seen that video, you're welcome to. But it was one of the things that we were speaking about. What is it that we truly desire? Now, the majority of us are like, oh yeah, I'll read this or I'll talk and pod that, but we're not actually the choosers of what we'd like to create and have and be, right? We're not, because we don't even recognize what is it that I'd like to have and be and do and change. We're so busy defending these points of view of other people, or buying the points of view of other people's perspective on what success is or what works for them, that we're not actually recognizing, well, what is it that I love about my life? What is it that I would like to have? What is it that I enjoy so much that just lights me up, that I'm so grateful for, that if I would choose to have that, would expand everything? If we're willing to look at and to write down a list, and we had said to write down a list of 100 things, and the reason we said 100 things, because it's super easy to write down 3 things or 5 things or 10 things, but it gets fucking uncomfortable when we have to just sit and be present, even with a glass of wine or tequila or whatever, and sit there and go, well, what is it that I really like? What is it that I desire? What is it that works for me? And we may begin with a lot of, very physical things, or things that sound right or look right. But eventually, after a certain point, we're going to start getting to what truly moves us, what truly inspires us, what's truly congruent for us. And if we could just recognize it, bring it to the light, let it have space for breathing, space for being, the space of possibilities around it will begin to show up, because it's part of your awareness. You suddenly become aware of, oh my God, I've always desired this, right? And when you have that awareness around something, that's when you begin to be that creative energy, that knowing that This is what you're willing to have. This is what you'd like to have and be and do, right? So awareness is the recognition that everything that you think gets created. But if you're fighting for somebody else's point of view, it ain't gonna be created because you truly don't desire that. It is how your life shows up by your thoughts alone. So if you have the creative image of where you're going, what you're going to do, and you attach to it the awareness that it is a done deal, it will manifest. But what you do upon this plane is add in the element of time. Time is your killer, because if you do not manifest $1 million tomorrow after completing this course tonight, you will decide that it is a worthless class and you will forget everything that you learned. So, well, how do you account for time? By being control. I be control. What does it mean to be I be control? I be control is the understanding that at the correct time, not your time, at the correct time, in the correct way, without your micromanaging the universe and defining the path, okay, control freaks, without your defining the path, that which you envision as creativity, that which you are aware of as a completion, that which you are connected to as the power of it, as the energy of it, is a done deal. Hang on, super excitement here. Is a done deal in its own time, in its own framework. If you put those 4 components together and you allow the universe to adjust every aspect of it, to fine-tune the world to become your slave, you will manifest exactly what you desire. It may not come the way you think it's going to come. Please get that. It never shows up the way you think it should or the way you planned on it. Okay? Plans are kind of jokes in a way. If you're willing to not have an expectation or projection, and you're willing to be the curiosity and the wonder and wonder how this is going to show up. I wonder what I can be and do different that will change this. I wonder what else is possible here, is when everything begins to play with you. Now, let us talk about desire for a minute. Desire is the emotion from which you decide to create, hence that list of 100 things that you desire. Okay? Is it a reality? No. It's only an interesting point of view. If you desire clothes, do you do it for a reason, or because you're cold, or because you're too hot, or because you've worn out your shoes? No, you do not do it for that reason. You do it for many others, because someone has told you that you look good in that color, or because somebody has said that they've seen you once too often in that shirt, or because they think. Laughter. Yes, we're glad you finally lighten up a bit here. All right. So desire is the place in which you flow emotional need into your insistence that is reality. You as a being, you as energy, you as power, you as creativity, you as awareness, and you as control have no desire at all. None. No desire. Because you don't have any needs. You do have choice, though. I will say that. You don't care what you experience. You only choose to experience. Please get how huge this paragraph is. Desire, and this is why I'm asking you to write down 100 things. Because if you start with just 5 or 10, you're going to start from that needy place. Or the Joneses have it, I'd like that too, because there's a fear of missing out. There's the, I'd like to have what other people are having, but is it truly what you desire? The more you look into it, the more you see what is truly your things that light you up? What is more of your choice? What gives you more pleasure, more joy, and more wonder in your life? Not what everybody else insists is something that you need to have or be. And it is a huge difference. The difference between need and the difference between, I'd like to have that. That works for me. I'll have it. Okay? Two completely different energies. So please get that. This is one of those light them up in your world kind of paragraphs. Desire is the place in which you flow emotional need into your insistence that is reality. You as a being, you as energy, you as power, you as creativity, you as awareness, you as control have no desire at all. None. No desire. You don't care what you experience, including COVID-19 or murder or rape or pillage or anything. You come to this plane to have experiences and you don't give a fuck what they are as long as you have a wealth of experiences. Because you don't just go through once, you go through many times. And there is nothing that you haven't been or done in one lifetime or another. And you come here just to have a playground of experiences. There's a lot more that can be said about that, but I'm not even going to go there. But the thing is that we come here to have experiences. What experiences would we like to have? That's our choice. But we come here to have experience. What you do not choose is ease upon this plane. You do not choose ease because it would mean that you have to be power. Because it means that you have to manifest upon this earth peace, tranquility, joy, laughter, and glory for not only yourselves, but for everybody else. You choose from the diminishment of self. If you become the power that you are, what is required is for you to live in joy, in ease, in glory. And glory is the exuberant expression of life and abundance of all things. Does this sound like where the mantra comes from? All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. And I can't wait for Gary's call tomorrow about ease. He's doing a one-off Zoom, and I am thrilled because that is the one thing that most of us are fighting so hard to not have. And all it takes is a freaking choice. We choose to have difficulty. We choose to have problems. We choose to have, struggle. We choose to, quote unquote, fit into this reality where everything seems so, quote unquote, normal and average. And this is the way it works. And this is the gravity of everything around us. Rather than, what do I know here? What would I like? And I personally would like a lot more ease. So yes, I am willing to choose more ease upon this plane, as Raz puts it. So what is the abundance in all things? Abundance is in all things is the understanding and reality that you are connected to each and every being upon this plane, to each and every molecule upon this plane. You're not alone, darlings, and that every one of them is in support of you and the energy and the power that you are. If you function as anything less than that, then you're just being a wimp. So are you going to recognize and acknowledge the magnificence of you? Or are you going to act like a pathetic pile of shit the way Gary says it in an indirect quote? Are you willing to be that totality of you, that abundance of you? Are you willing to allow that glory and the magnificence and the miracle and the magic and the possibility and energy, space, and consciousness that you truly be? Which I love because I'd found out from my friend Sharona that in Hebrew, energy, space, and consciousness is emet, verdad, truth. It is energia, merchav, toda'ah, the acronym for truth. The truth of you is not a tiny little point of you or a pile of shit. It is the energy, the space, the consciousness, the magic, the miracle, mystery, the possibility, and probably a hell of a lot more words that could be added to that don't even begin to express the magic that each of us is walking, if we're willing to be that. And that's what Raz is speaking about here. The abundance in all things is that abundance of self, and willing to embrace that abundance of self. Oh, that's so nice. I didn't realize she was. No, I'm not reading tomorrow. It's Saturday. I don't think I'll be reading tomorrow. I will let you guys know that in the group. So, from that which is the debilitation of financial insecurity. Now, just perceive those words, financial insecurity. Does that sound like that abundance and energy and space and consciousness and magic that's just like so light and so expansive? And then you see a word like financial insecurity that just collapses it all, no? What's true will always make you feel lighter and more expansive. What's a lie shrinks it down. Be aware of that as you're reading anything or listening to anything, even on the news, etc. From that which is the debilitation of financial insecurity, you create yourself as small, as unable, and even more than that, unwilling. Unwilling to take up the challenge of who you truly are. Because you are power, you are control, you are awareness, and you are creativity. And those four elements create your abundance. So become them. Use them every day for the rest of your life or until you become them yourself. And you can add one more in there and say, I be money. I be money. All right. So now we're going to ask you all to say with us. You follow with us, and we're going to do some IBs. All right? All right. So we begin. You're welcome to do it with me if you like. I be power. I be awareness. I be control. I be creativity. I be money. I be control. I be power. I be awareness. I be creativity. I be power. I be awareness. I be control. I be creativity. I be money. I be awareness. I be power. I be control. I be awareness. I be power. I be control. I be money. I be creativity. I be joy. Good. Now feel your energy and feel the expansion that you feel of your energy. This is the truth of you, and this is the place from which you create a flow of money. The tendency of each of you is to contract, pull yourself into the small dominion that you call your body and think. Stop thinking. The brain is a useless tool for you. Throw away the brain and begin to function as the truth of self, the power of you, the expansion of you. Be it in totality. Now, each of you, pull yourselves into your financial world. Does it feel good? Student, no. If it doesn't feel good, just there, how many lies are holding that yuck in place? Just because everybody else is doing it does not mean that you've got to hold on to that yuck too. So, how come you choose to live there? What limiting belief do you function from? So write that down. What limiting belief do you function from in life that has created your financial world? I'm going to add to that, whose limiting belief did you buy that has created your financial world? I wonder. It's interesting to look at when you're really being honest with yourself, no? Now, you remain expanded as power and look at that financial world that you've created inside of you, not as a reality, but as a space from which you function. What limiting belief do you have to have in place to function like that? Do not draw back into your bodies. We can feel you doing it. Touch the space, but do not be in it. Okay. Thank you. There you go. Now expand out, expand out, expand out. There, like that. Do not draw back into that space. You're doing it again. Move out. I be power, I be awareness, I be control, I be creativity, I be money, I be power, I be control, I be creativity, I be money, I be power, I be control, I be creativity, I be money, I be power, I be control, I be creativity, I be money, I be awareness, I be awareness, I be awareness. There, thank you. Now you're out of your bodies. You choose always to diminish yourself to the size of your body. And then you choose a limitation about what you can receive because you think only your body receives the energy of money, which is not true. It is the lie from which you function. All right, now are you more expanded? All right, now that you've looked at that one, everybody's come up with an answer? Who does not have an answer? Student, I don't. Raz, all right, you don't have an answer? So let us look. What do you consider your financial situation to be? Feel it in your body. Where is it located? Student, in my eyes. Raz, your eyes. Your financial situation is here. So you cannot see what it is that you're creating, eh? Student, yes. Raz, so is awareness in your eyes. Huh, interesting. Now you start to move out. You notice? Yes, you start to move out. The limiting belief from which you function is, I do not have the foresight to know what is going to happen and how to control it. True? Student, yes. Raz, good. So how do you get yourself out of that belief? Now, of all the rest of you got your belief that you function from, who else needs contribution here, needs to be helped? Student, I do. Raz, yes. So what is your financial situation and where do you feel it in your body? In my solar plexus and in my throat. Raz, yes, all right. So what is that solar plexus and throat? Go into it. Feel it in totality. Feel it. Yes, right there. Now, I want you to notice something there. He's not avoiding it. He's not going, puck and pod, like immediately when something comes up. He's willing to be present with what is, and he's willing to look at what is rather than avoiding it in totality. We've got the flying fur going into the nose again. Hello, papita. So that willing to be with someone, with something, actually, with some intensity, whatever it is, some discomfort. Nobody ever said this consciousness business is comfortable anyway, right? Whoever did is a great big liar or really likes fantasies or fairy tales or something. When we're willing to be present with what is and not freak out about it and just kind of breathe around it, it already begins to expand it. It already allows it to move. A lot of these thoughts, these feelings, these emotions, I often speak about them as if they are clouds in the sky. That abundance of self that Raz is speaking about to me is like the clear blue sky. That's being like an infinite being. It's the big blue sky, and we often misidentify and misapply who we are as a big blue sky by all this other stuff that goes in front of us, which isn't real or true. Like all of the clouds that may be going by, some may be like wispy and bright and cheery and lovely, and the sun may be shining and all that. And then some days there may be so many clouds that you can barely even see that there's a sky. It almost feels as if, you know, the cloud coverage is so thick that it's touching the ground. But if we're willing to just recognize that we could just stand there and just be there, it's not even about doing, it's about being willing to be there and not fighting it, not running away, screaming, oh my God, the sky is cloudy. It will pass. It may take it a day, it may take it 2 days, it may take it a freaking week, but it will pass. Same with whatever's going on with this, you know, virus, COVID, whatever. Same kind of thing. It's not forever. This too shall pass. Everything passes, everything moves, everything shifts if we don't make it bigger than us. You can't hold on to a cloud, grab a cloud and go, this cloud is me. You can't. Hey, the cloud isn't solid enough. If you do any skydiving, which I don't because I'm a chicken shit, I don't jump out of things that look like they may be supporting me, you know, onto like nothing. No, I'm a chicken. I don't do that. But I and my husband did. And the thing is that you don't like jump out of the airplane and go, oh, look, it's a cloud. It's going to hold me. It's going to support me. It's going to be like my cloud 9 for life. I'm going to skate on this cloud and we'll float down to the ground. No, it doesn't do that. It's got no solidity whatsoever. What's solid is that from space to point of view, right? That is what's solid, the points of view. If we hold on to something and make it so much bigger than us, even the financial situation that they're speaking about, we're not recognizing a basic concept, which is it shifts and moves if we allow it to. The difference is, are we holding on to it, or are we recognizing that it can just keep moving? And we're willing to be present with what is. We're willing to stand there and get through whatever's going on. And that's kind of what Raz is doing here too. He's saying, notice it, be present with it. Don't fucking run away from it. Don't avoid it. Don't stick your head in the sand and pretend it's not there. It's there. Okay? So look at it. Breathe into it. You can even intensify it if you like. If you really want to, you know, like take out the big massive shovel and get some shit out, intensify it. Make it bigger. Make it more intense. Make it bigger. Right? You notice it's getting heavier and heavier. Yes, more and more of the financial situation that it is, which is exactly how you feel whenever you get into your financial pickle. Yes? All right. So now reverse it and have it go the other direction. How brilliant that is. Allow it to flow out. There. Do you feel it? Is it shifting now? Is it? Student? So your financial consideration is that you've not the power or the voice to speak the truth of you, to make things happen. Student? Yeah. Raz? Yes, exactly so. Good. You see. Now for each of you, you now understand the method? This is how you go about reversing the effect that you've created in your own body, in your own world. Where you feel your financial restrictions within your body, reverse them and allow them to come out of you and to be outside of you, not within you. To be not part of you, but as an interesting point of view indeed. Because out here, you do have a point of view. You can see it. You can acknowledge it. You can shine a light on it. You can change it. When it's inside, it's almost shikyu, as we call it, secret, hidden, insidious, unseen, unspoken, unacknowledged, bundle of crap that's in there that I have no idea why this keeps happening to me. Well, take it out and have a look at it. Let it flow, let it move, or as that song in the Disney, let it go, let it go. You let it go by just being willing to put it out of you. It doesn't have to be who you be. You be you. That's just a point of view. Now, who is feeling dizzy? Anybody? Student, I am. Raz, slightly dizzy here. Okay, so slight dizzy. Why are you dizzy? Is that not where you feel the considerations of money? That they sort of spin you out? You don't know exactly how to deal with them? Put that dizziness outside your head. Feel that? Feel that? You put it out there. Now you are expansion. You see, you see it no longer a thing of being out of control in your head. There is no out of control. It is total bullshit. It's one of my favorite signs in sign language. Bullshit. Love having learned a tiny bit of sign language, but that's one of my favorite signs. That one and fuck you. That's also a good one. Of course, there's other signs that we used to do with our kids when they were little, but that's a whole different story. You no longer see, the only thing that controls you are the red lights by which you function and the green lights which tell you to go. And that is when you're driving a car, darling. Oh, Dane comes on live in 20 minutes. Well, okay, cool. I am interested in being live with Dane, although it doesn't matter. Sometimes I miss him. So I'll just go for another few minutes and then we'll stop until, I guess, Monday, or if I surprise you guys and go live during the weekend. Let's see. Why would you follow those green lights and those red lights when you're in your body? Pavlovian training. So now we ask you to go back to your original questions. First question is what? Well, maybe that would be a good place to stop. How much is there in there? Oh, not too bad. We might be able to get through it. The first question is what? Student, what is money? Raz, what is money? What is money to you? The answers. My first answer was power, said the student. My second answer was mobility, and third was growth. Raz, good. So which of these are true? Student, the power. Raz, really? Student, power. It's totally true. Raz, is that really true? You think money is power. Do you have money? Student, no. Raz, so you have no power? Student, right. Raz, is that the way you feel? Powerless? Where do you feel that powerless? Well, when you say it that way, I feel it right in my solar plexus, said the student. Raz, yeah, so what do? Turn it out. Student, but you know, when I felt the money, I felt it in my heart, and then when I've got to do something where I feel, Raz, yes, because this is about power. The issue of power you feel in the solar plexus. You've sold your power and you've given it away. You must reverse that flow. The power is yours. You be power. You do not create power. You choose it. You be it. Feel there. Now, as you turn it out, you start once again to expand. Do not get into your head. Do not think about it. Feel it. Yes, there, you push that power out. Now, what does that mean? For all of you, the reality is that when you have money as power and you feel it pulling in, you're trying to create power. And as such, that's a basic lie. You have already assume, ass, you, me. You're making an ass out of you and me every time you assume something. You have already assumed that you have none. The basic assumption. That's a lie because you be power. Okay? Anything that sticks your attention has a truth with a lie attached. Student, can you say that again, please? Raz, anything that sticks your attention or about power? Student, yes. Raz, when you feel power as coming into you, you've already assumed that you have none. You have assumed. What does that do for you? It diminishes you, right? Do not create from assumption. The assumption that money is power. Feel it. Money as power. Is that a solidity or is that only an interesting point of view? If you make it so, money's power, feel the energy of it. That is solid, is it not? Can you function as energy at solidity? No, because that is the place from which you make the box that you live in, and that is where you're all trapped right now, in the idea that money is power. Now your next answer? Student, my next answer was mobility. Raz, mobility. Student, yes. Ah, Raz says, so money allows you to move, eh? Student, yes. Raz, really? You've no money, but you managed to get from Pennsylvania to New York. Student, well, if you put it that way. Raz, well, did you? Student, yeah. Raz, and how much energy did you get here that has changed you? Looking at contribution. Student, oh, a lot more than it took to get here. Is that what you mean? Raz, yes, it's an interesting point of view, is it not? So which way are you flowing? More out or more in? Raz, right. But you see, you always think that you are diminishing yourself because you get energy, but you do not see money as energy also. That can come in, can come in. You allow energy with great joy, do you not? Student, yes. Great gusto, says Raz. Student, yes. Glory, as it were, says Raz. Now feel the glory of the energy that you have experienced in the last couple of days. Feel that? Student, yes. Raz, turn it all into money. Whoa, what a whirlwind that would be, hey? Student laughs. So how come you do not allow that to be in your life the rest of the time? Because you're not willing to let yourself receive. Because the assumption is that you need. What does need feel like? Student, well, it doesn't feel good. Raz, feels like a solidity, eh? That is the lid on your box. Need. That is one of the dirtiest words in your language. Throw it away. Take it right now, write it down on a piece of paper, on a separate sheet, write need, rip it out of your book and rip it up. Now you have to put the pieces in your pocket, otherwise this other student will have a problem. Good, now how does that feel? Student, good. Raz, feels great, hey? Yes, all right, so every time you use the word need, you write it down and you tear it up until it is erased from your vocabulary, until you become conscious of that your words create. And what is it that you're creating with the words that you're choosing? Student, may I ask you a question? Raz, yes, there are questions. Student, yes, just about, well, I thought earlier that you were explaining that the words power, energy, and awareness were interchangeable. Raz, not quite. If you make them significant, if you make anything very meaningful, you have made them a solidity. You must keep them as energy flows. Power is energy. Awareness is energy, as knowing with absolute certainty and no doubt and no reservation. If you think, I'm going to have $1 million next week, and inside you're a little voice that goes, you want to make a bet? Or one that says, how you going to do that? Or, oh my God, I can't believe I made that kind of commitment. You have already counter-intended yourself to the point where it cannot occur in the time sequence that you have created for it, which is the issue of control. If you say, I wish to have $1 million in the bank, and you know you're going to do that, and you do not put time in there, because you have the control to monitor your thought processes, and each time you have a thought that is counter-intention to it, you think, oh, interesting point of view. When you erase it, it can happen very much quicker. Each time you have a thought that you do not erase, that you do not look at and wonder about and go, ain't that just an interesting point of view? Each time you have a thought that you do not erase, you lengthen the time period until it cannot exist. You chip away from it, you see. If you look at it from a foundation purpose, let us say that you have a golf tee, all right? And the point is here, and you're going to put your idea for $1 million on top of that point. And every time you say something, you think something negative about what you've decided to create, you chip away the foundation until it tips over and falls away. And then it no longer exists. And then you build it up again and you decide it again, but once again, you've started to chip away continuously that distractor implant of doubt, which so many of us jump into with 2 feet. But just recognize it and know that you can choose something else. The balance of it, on the point, you must get the point, and you keep it there as a knowing, as a reality that it is already in existence. It's there for you. Trust in you. Commit to what it is that you desire. And that eventually, in your sequence of time, you'll catch up to what you've created. See, in the universe's time, in the correct time, in the correct place. Remember, not by our plans, but by the universe, right? That's control. Only then do you get it. Do you have it? And is it yours? All right? So we go back to your number 2 answer, mobility. What is mobility? Moving your body around? Student, well, I meant it that way. Raz, you meant it as moving the body around, or you meant it as freedom? Student, both? Both? Yeah. Well, once again, the assumption is that you do not have it. Notice it is your assumptions, which are the negative points of view that do not allow you to receive what you desire in life. If you say, I need or desire freedom, you have automatically created the point of view that you have no freedom, okay? That is neither power, nor awareness, nor control, nor creativity. Well, it is a creativity of a sort. You've created it, and you made it a reality from which you're functioning. Consciousness is the process by which you will create your life, not by assumption. You cannot function at assumption. A little alliteration there. Time to write a poem of our own. All right, now your 3rd answer. Student, the 3rd one, well, growth. Raz, you've not grown in the last 20 years? Student, well, growth, I had this idea that I need to travel to. Raz, what did you say? Student, well, I'd like to be able to travel. Raz, what did you say? Student, well, I would like to, oh, I said need. Raz, yes, write it down, tear it up. You better make smaller pieces of paper. Student, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'd like to be able to travel around when I hear about exciting workshops where I can learn something. Raz, interesting point of view. Now, what is the automatic point of view, the assumption from which you're functioning? That I cannot afford it, that I don't have enough money. Feel your energy. Feel your energy. What does it feel like? Student, it feels very expanded right now. Good. But when you say that, says Raz, what does it feel like? Student, when I say that? Raz, yes. When you assume that you do not have enough money. Student, oh, that feels diminished. That feels Raz. Good. So do you have to function from that place anymore? Student, hopefully not. Raz, hopefully not. Interesting point of view. Student, oh, it sure is. Consciousness, says Raz. Consciousness. Every time you feel like that, wake up. When you feel like that, you are no longer being true to yourself. You are no longer being power, awareness, control, creativity, or money. So, anybody have any points of view about what money is for them? That they would like to have some clarification about their assumed point of view? Student, yes. Raz, yes. So my first one was cosmic fuel. Raz, cosmic fuel. Is that what you truly believe? And what is the assumption behind it? That you have no cosmic fuel? The assumption behind it is that you have no cosmic fuel, that you are not connected to the cosmos, and that you are not awareness. Are any of those things true? Student, no. Raz, no, they are not. So do not function from the assumption. Function from the reality. You have cosmic fuel. Plenty, plenty abundance. Yes, like that. You got it? You have another point of view that you wish to ask? Student, yes, I had cushion for survival. Raz, very interesting point of view. We would guess there are about 6 or 7 others who might have that similar point of view. Now, what is the assumption from which you are functioning there? There are actually 3 in that particular point of view. Look at them. What do you see? And what are you assuming there? Number 1 is that you are assuming that you will survive or that you must survive. Now, truth, how many billions of years old are you? Student, 6. Raz, at least. So you've already been surviving 6 billion. How many of those lifetimes have you been able to take your cushion with you? What? Student, all of them. You've been able to take the cushion of money with you on all those lifetimes? Asked Raz. The cushion of survival? Student, yes. Raz, when you speak of survival, you are talking about your body, and you are assuming that you are a body and that only with money it can survive. Stop breathing and breathe energy into your solar plexus. Do not suck in big bunches of air to do it. Just pull it in. Notice that you can take in 3 or 4 breaths of energy before you feel you have to breathe, and your body feels energized. Yes, like that. Now you can breathe. Breathe in energy as you breathe in air. And that is how you become energy and money. You breathe in energy with every breath you take. You breathe in money with every breath you take. There is no difference between you and money. All right? You get that now? Does that explain it? Student, do I get that? Raz, do you understand now how one is functioning and what you have as an assumption there? Student, yeah. Raz, all right. And do you need that anymore? Student, no. Raz, good. So what can you do with it? Change it. You can all change those things. Take away the assumptions and create a new point of view as power, as energy, as control, as creativity, as money. What new point of view would you have? Student, that I be power, that I be energy. Raz, exactly so. And you are you not? And have you always been? What an interesting point of view. All right, so the next question. Who would wish to volunteer for that? Student, but you said there were 3 assumptions with his cushion. Raz, yes. Student, we only got 1, didn't we? Raz, you got 2. Student, 2 must survive. Raz, I will survive. I must survive. I cannot survive. Student, okay. Raz, and what is the 3rd one? Think about it. I am unwilling to survive. That hidden, unspoken, insidious point of view. And with that, we finished chapter 1 of this amazing How to Become Money workbook. Yay! Yours is a much prettier version. My Spanish version and my Hebrew version look like that. This is, I've had the English version for many, many years, and this is what it used to look like beforehand. Thank you for being on live, and I'm very grateful to be able to see some facial expressions. Mirna, thank you for being on video. I'm not sure, I'll post in the group if I feel like reading more tomorrow, and if not, I will see you guys on Monday. But we might read tomorrow. Might be fun, because this is a really cool book to get through.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I'm going to catch Dane now. Catch him by the tail. Take care.
You too. Bye.